So Soumya, you want to start first?
Yep. So hello everyone. Welcome back or welcome. I'm Soumya Vemuri. I'm from India and I'm a computer science and engineering student. Yep. So welcome.
Thank you, Soumya. Shermaine.
Hello, everyone. So welcome to today's session. Welcome back. I am Shermaine Ang and I'm from Singapore. And I am an incoming freshman at Imperial College London. And I'm so glad to have all of you here with us today.
Thank you, Shermaine. So I'm Karen. I am a programmer at a research and development company. And I'm currently doing a lot of text projects related to deep learning and machine learning. So again, so today's presenter speak, Karen. I've been doing Python every day. I'm still learning Python every day as well. So I'm here very excited to learn with everyone or even learn from everyone. So like I said, today we have Numpys and Pandas. So we would do a little bit introduction and then we would dive into the live coding session as usual. So NumPy. So what is NumPy? NumPy is actually one of the most fundamental libraries available to handle numbers. It provides us a lot of advanced mathematical and various type of operation on numeric data. It helps us to manipulate like arrays or like even using linear algebra equations. So fun fact about NumPy, it's just my personal experience. I actually never dealt with NumPy before until I got this job because I dealt with a lot with like text data, like textual, like words and stuff, and like I rarely used NumPy before, and I thought it was like, why was NumPy so popular? And when you actually dive into machine learning, NumPy is a has a very important role when you're dealing with like a lot of machine learning stuff. So in case you never really dealt with NumPy, and when you are diving into machine learning, you will definitely get into it. Today we will be going through a couple functions that NumPy has. It's like kind of popular. Also, actually, it's just the function that I recently used. So if you have anything that you want to explore and share with everyone that you found it useful, like feel free to suggest it and to this webinar. So NumPy can create ones and zeros. It gives us a new array with a given shape, and then filling with the ones and zeros. And then you have numpy.nan, like convert into the new data into a floating point data. And also it also have a function called infinite functions. It doesn't represent anything, but it's just like an infinite number. Also it has like a dot products of the two arrays. So the reason it sounds really weird that why am I putting this here, because actually the reason because is like when you use it because like this in machine learning there's a lot of like calculation. It's honestly it's just calculations, purely calculations. So when you pass a lot of like function, when you pass a lot of value from function to functions, sometimes the function has a requirement that you didn't fit in, and using the new data and the infinite data actually is something that you can kind of like bypass it and I kind of fit in, kind of like a missing piece of puzzle, missing piece of the whole puzzle, in order for two functions to run like fully connected to each other. So just not so popular for especially for the first one, but just want to introduce you guys, there's something like this exists in the NumPy module. Okay, and also we have someone's favorite. I know some of you favorite random function, random. I love random because it helps me to create a lot of numbers that I don't even need to type. So we have random. If you attend the previous session, we also introduced the random module as well. So the NumPy actually provides the almost exact same function here. So random, like random with the flow and random with the integer, and also you can create a range of integers or like the numeric values with the using the range function. NumPy also have a very useful function where that you can just save a file into a MPY file. It's actually very special because a lot of numbers, especially when you're dealing with machine learning models or like anything machine learning models, like if you want to save a model, majority of it is actually numbers. So an MPY file is actually helping you to save the file in a numeric form. So any questions so far for the NumPy? Let me stop here for a bit. Everyone good? B, thank you, Celia. Everyone great? Thank you. All right, I should move on. Okay, so pandas. Pandas. Everyone's favorite. Okay. If anyone used pandas before, by any chance? I know Soumya does. Soumya love pandas. Yes. Ooh. Awesome. Yep. Okay, great. Good to know. I will be going through some basic functions of pandas today, and hopefully introduce like one or two that like hope is something new. So it's more like if for those of you who learn Panda, who dealt with pandas before, is more like a refreshment. It's more like a refreshing section. Hopefully you learn one or two things from there as well. All right, pandas. So what is pandas? So pandas provide us with a collection of functions that help us to manipulate data, especially in relational labeled data from a different type of files, such as CSV and then Excel spreadsheets. It's a very powerful library to perform data analysis, which I would assume why most of you are using pandas a lot. So couple fundamental pandas modules. So read CSV, everyone probably like an entry. Yes, I would love pandas differentially. Yes, Soumya. Okay, so read CSV and read Excel. So basically reading the data, reading the data from a format. So we will be doing columns, understanding the data, like reading the columns label and the head and tail, like the first, last, and rows. Also using the index location to allocate, to find some data that we want. And the second part is also a lot of general infos about data frame, the shape and size of the data frame itself. How do I find unique value in a series? And also a group by function where you can just group by some. In case you dealt with SQL before, a database, it's a group by function. You group by and then calculate and then perform some mathematical operation with it. Now, just to, I know a lot of you dealt with it before, just to say it out loud. So Panda has two main different kind of trend for functions. One is data frame and one is series. So data frame is the whole table, and series is the column. It could be series also could be the row as well. But like majority, when you didn't really specify it, it usually refers to a column. A lot of functions actually share the same, actually can be applicable on data frame and series, but like there are certain functions that you can only when it's like either data frame or series. Okay, before we dive into live coding, any questions? So Soumya and Shermaine, would you mind posting the collab link so that everyone can get it? And if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask. Oh, I should ask out of the consistency sake. What is everyone's favorite function for pandas? We should start with our favorites. We should talk about favorites. Karen said we CSV. Yes. We CSV. Okay. Yes, it's my favorite too. Sometimes it's cranky, but like I do like it. Okay, just a reminder, remember to go to File, save a copy in Drive to get into and to manipulate with your own copy. Just a quick, I'm gonna save it there. Okay, now that everyone is very familiar with pandas and CSVs, pandas and using CSVs, does anyone know, so just to remind everyone, so I know there is a library called CSV, and pandas can actually have a very popular functions, Karen's favorite, to import CSV as well. So and in case you ever wonder when to use import CSV and when to use the CSV module and when to use the pandas module, here's a little tips and just a reminder from a programmer perspective point of view. So CSV is compared to Panda, is a lot smaller. The library size is smaller, and it has a CSV module actually has like specific function dealing with like CSV, obviously, and where pandas hunting a lot more functions to deal with like a lot of stuff. So as actually, for example, if you have to deal with like CSV file that like you just want to perform certain, like, just want to read it out, just read it, and then you don't need to perform any functions, I would actually recommend using the CSV library, because installing a pandas library actually take more memory than you think. Not that it's gonna bother you in a short term, but then when you eventually have a lot of like big library, for example, like if you're dealing with machine learning, PyTorch, like TensorFlow, it's actually becomes like very heavy. So in case in the future you come across with a lot of big library that has like the same function as those small libraries, hopefully you guys know when to use what. All right, I guess everyone is ready. Tired of my talking? All right, okay, let's dive into it. Is my font okay? Do I have to zoom in a little bit more, or is everything okay? Looks good. All right, awesome. Okay, so very quick for NumPy. So first of all, you have to import the NumPy, and then when you call a function, you usually have to call a library. So that's why we have to, it's better for us to type less. So that's why we import NumPy as NP. So if you want to, so let's say we want to create some random numeric data. So we want to create a random list, which is the exact same function as the random dot rand, if I remember correctly. So you can create a random list. And then we can create a range of number from 5 to 50. And that's how it works out. And then we create the infinitive number. So what is the difference between the infinitive number? So here. So actually infinitive, actually I should put it infinitive, the good thing, the reason I use infinitive, I get to use the infinitive is because there were certain functions. If I type, usually normally if you want to declare a variable as like a m, like no value, you'll be like, let's say count equals to 0. That particular function is actually one of the big functions, actually won't allow me to create a 0. 0 is because 0 is actually a number. It represents something. So it actually, if I do count 0, count equals 0, it actually gave me error. That said, like it can be 0. 0 because 0 means something. So that's why when it comes to, that's why how I came to the np.infinite, so infinite numbers. So it's just in case you guys need to use it. You guys, your functions being cranky when you're doing machine learning, that's one way to use it. That's one function to use it. All right, so whole thing about NumPy, the future fantasy for NumPy is to do with matrix. Quick quiz. What is an array and a matrix? Sorry, I pulled a lot of like quick quiz today. I hope I don't catch everyone off guard. The difference between array and a matrix. Any guess? Sorry, machine learning 001. It's not even 101. Any guess? Any guess? Yes, 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 and 0. Great job, great job. Great job in the morning. Great job, great job. So array is 1D, one-dimensional, and matrix is like actually matrix can be multi-dimensional. So that is in case you new to data structure. Array is just a one-dimensional list, and where matrix is like a multi-dimensional of array, aka list. Great job, great job, great job, guys. Great job. Even like caught you guys off guard. Okay, so NumPy has a very popular question for people to create a matrix. So let's say in here, for example, if I want to create a 3x3 matrix, I can just put this now, just use this function, and it will show me a lot of random numbers. And then just create like a 3x3, the square. So and then afterwards, if I, like I said, I do mention this a function called save. So how do we save? Just in case you wanna learn, it's just interested in. So you just have to type np.save. If I wanna save this like 3x3 matrix, I can just put a file name that I want to like locate, and then the matrix here. So if you run here, you will see nothing. So in order for us to see in Colab or any on Unix and Unix, Linux, Mac environment, or you want to see the file, you can just type ls. A collab is a little different. You have to put an exclamation mark in front. But like, if you want to see the data, if you want to see the file, you can just type ls, and then you will see now it's created here. The MPY is created. So, and then now that we learn how to save a file, we go through ones and zeros. So they're the exact same thing. So if you want to do, let's say if I create a zero matrix, it will see 3x4 zero matrix. So all you have to do is to have this, and then it will be a lot of zeros. So ones is the same, it's 3x2. Okay, and then we're going through a null value. So NP null is actually very important when you convert, especially CSV or Excel file. Actually, when you imported a file into a table or into a string, into a list, like a list, NaN or anything called NONE, none, or an empty value, any calculation function hates it, just don't like it, and it will return you an error called none type. Like none type is not the type that they're looking for. So if you have a zero, if you have a zero in a CSV file, if a lot of zeros in CS file, I mean, it's just an empty value, like empty thing in a cell, and then like you want to translate it to, and then you want to import it into, let's say, a DataFrame in Pandas, and you want to do calculation, it would definitely return an error. The way to solve it is to turn everything into an NP-NaN. So NP.NaN, it returns an NaN value, and you see the class is flow, which is the exact same here. The type of the infinite and the NaN is flow. So flow is actually the kind of like the standard format for a lot of for majority of the calculations. So just to pay attention, if in case in the future you had it before that you a lot of zeros, and then you have a lot of like null, none, you just have to turn them into a np.nan using this function. All right, and then the last one we dealt with, the numpy, is called numpy dot. It's actually a very popular function to multiply the matrix. So let's say we have matrix 1 and matrix 2. One is like 2x3, and the other one is 3x2. So the way, and then we just have to use the np dot dots, and then put the two together, and we will have a calculation. We have the product of the two matrices. So that's about the numpy. I know numpy is for you math lovers. It's kind of boring. just say it out loud. I would just say out loud. But it's actually very useful. So I would spend, if you want to go, like I said, if you want to spend into machine learning, definitely spend some time with it and then get used to it, because it's actually your best friend. And then sometimes when you deal with like numbers, it's actually way better than pandas. I gotta admit that, even I didn't really like numpy first. All right, so all the introduction functions that I posted here. Anyone has any questions before I move on to everyone's favorite pandas? Okay, and I actually want to show you one thing. That's a very great question. If you want to remove it later, yes. So Soumya is definitely correct. Because collab doesn't allow you to save file and it actually automatically erase it in a certain period of time. But then if you want to do it on your own computer, the way to do it is instead of ls, you would type lm.test.mpy. So if you run this, and then, actually, what I'm going to do is here. Give me 1 sec. Okay. So now that like we can see we have the file here. So if we do the function called rm and then do ls, it'll be gone. So it is, in case you put it in your local environment, that's how, that's the rm is the command you're looking for. And it works on, it is definitely works on Mac and any Linux. Google Bigakulu Colab, it uses Linux, so it will work here, but Windows is different. Yes, yes, yes. That's the reason I like Google Colab, Soumya. Yes, it's actually is when you put it in when you put it exclamation mark in front, is actually you're running a Linux you're actually running a Linux terminal. Yes. Anyways, is everyone good? Can I get a B or P? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's go to Pandas. Pandas. All right, so Pandas obviously has to have, like, you can't really do Pandas without a CSV. So I pick a CSV file that is from the United Nations. Is about a population. So if you want to take a look, you can go to this website. You can just go to here, actually. This is the website. Take a look. So I'm actually very lazy, so I'm just gonna use a Linux command to download the file here. So all you have to run is to run this command, and then it will automatically download the file into your into this platform. And then you run this ls again, and it will show you the world pop ASV. So so very simple command. So wget, so webget, and then option. Don't worry about, like, if you, don't worry about too much if this is confusing, but basically this is the name and this is the address. So hopefully, like, see how convenient it is. So if everyone wanna like join me with Linux, welcome. So now that we download the CSV, and then so now that we can perform we can have fun with the CSVs. Before that, you will see here, in case anyone is interested, what I'm doing here is to set up how the result with the return result should be. So so Pandas actually have a default options, how many rows, in case you didn't if you didn't indicate, if you specify, you can only see certain rows and certain columns. So for this exercise, I wanted everyone to like see the whole column. So that's why I do a little setting here. So in case in home you have this problem, you don't see any column, if you don't see all the columns and you want to do it, this is the way to do it. So now we set the option here and run the CSV, and then work the and then read the CSV file, and then call it into DataFrame. I'm pretty sure 90% of you are super familiar with it, is reading the CSV file. So the whole point to me, the whole point of Pandas is actually for me to understand the data. So I would actually spend a lot of time understand the data instead of like performing like fancy functions. So so because if you don't understand the data, actually you can't really do any progress. So for example, like you don't know the type of data, like you just can't go far with it, and it will stuck in between, and like you'll have like error. So so here I create a little function. So in case you're coming from the beginners Python class, Stephanie previously did teach some how to use a function and the if else statement. Stephanie's favorite, if Stephanie's here. So we will be using, I'm not going to explain it too much, but basically it's like a handful function. It's like a notebook for me to understand what I want to know from this data frame. So to do that, we can do basic ints. Like for example, if I want to see the columns here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call this function .basic info. So I have to call the data frame, and then I have a command. So CMD is command. So a command is column. So if I run this, it gives me this is it. Oh, it gives me an error. Anyone know what is wrong here? It's more like a troubleshooting class. Yes, it's not really about pandas. It's the troubleshooting class. Yes, it's a Python class. Anyone take a guess what is wrong with this statement? What is wrong with I just typed? Take a guess. Take a guess. Giselle, you are what you said is correct. The function itself is not global defined. Actually, Laura said I needed an argument for that. So you guys are in the correct form. You guys are in the correct direction. So how I call the column is actually is I'm calling a function, I'm calling a variable here. But in this case, I actually trick you guys. If you see it here, I'm so sorry. If don't please don't be mad at me. If you see it here, I actually put the command is actually a string instead of a function. So what I do here, what I'm missing here is actually call it a string. I have to call it a string instead of a function. But you guys are you guys are really great. You guys actually know like you need an argument, like you need to press. Oh, for sending for sorry for Prudentia, you got it right. Yes, you did pass like the vocal column. But I'm actually really amazed. Like you guys like understand like the function, how does it globally, how does it locally, and then like it's actually referring to a function when it's like without the call. But like good job guys, good job. So sorry, back to here. So I want to see the column here. So basically I'm calling this function, I'm calling this line here. So if you type the column, so basically they have a list of columns here. Index, like the location ID, location, their ID and time period, and then population, the male and female in here. So if you want to see the whole thing, let me show you the whole thing actually instead of compare. So one from here. So the original data is like this. It has these columns. Oh, previously I only showed the columns here. but that's just the originally the data. My bad, guys. I should let you guys take a look first. So if I want to see the first couple of rows, you know how like here it has like, you know, almost like 2 million rows here. So I can see everything. So what if I want to just take a peek here? I will just take a peek. So what I do is to use the head and then number equal to here and 10. So I want to see the 10. Use the 10 as I want to see the first 10 row here. So this calling the head here refers to this function. So DF has, they are all in the slides. So in case you want to referring, like going back, like what is what, so it's on the slide, but I'm just kind of piling together and so that it's neat. Just a different way to interpret it. Okay, so if I want to see the 10 row up here, and there we go, and we have the first 10 rows from the data frame. Same thing here. If I want to see the last couple rows, I use the function tail, and then referring to this function. And then I will see the last 10 rows of the data frame. And then if I want to see, so usually remember when I just showed you the whole data frame, it tells you the size. So let's say if you don't know the size yet, you don't know what is the size, all you have to do is want to see how many rows, and it will show you the rows here, the number of rows here. So that's for us to understand what is going on in the data frame. What do we have in the table? What kind of data we have? I think this is very, very critical. It's very, very critical. So if you want to understand this, just spend some time to play around with it. And if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. All right, and then next, remember we see a lot of repeating function here. Oh, so Nada, you asked a good question. So if you want to see the middle, let's see. Okay. I'll show you a way to do that. Let's see if it works. So I actually have a function here. It's called every fifth row, every n row. So in here, I'll show you here. So this function, if I call this, we're using the index location to allocate to actually tell us what is the every 10 row looks like. So it's actually like sort of similar to what you're looking for, I believe. The reason I create this function here is probably the same thing, like because the first 10 row is like all Afghanistan, and the last row is also Bari. So you can use the every nth row function in here using the index location function, to actually find out what is it in between. So because we have 2 million rows of data here, I can actually put a very big number to actually see more stuff about it. So now, if I put like, I want the pandas to show every 2,000 row. I can put the number 2,000 here, and then I will see what is it in between. So that's one way to tell what is it instead. What is it? Do this. Yes, Valencia. Like this is another way to do it. So I'm gonna if everyone wanna take a look at the Valencia's the comment from the index from from 2000 to like 4000, like you can use this, you can use the df and then for the start and stop of the function. Maybe actually, you know what, I'll just put it here. There we go. That's the slicing function Valencia was referring to. It's when you have a lot of repetitive data like this, is not as obvious. But then if you have a smaller data size, let's say if it's just like 400 row, this could be this is actually the most effective way to see the middle data. And you have like a 2 million row here. Probably this might be what you're looking for, because you have, for example, this data is actually from 1950 to the future 2035. So each country actually have like that many like maybe 60, 70 years of like population in the list. So you might not see what you want to see in the middle. But then yes, this is the function here. I'm gonna put it here, so when I upload this, like you guys will have this useful function as well. The data in the middle. All right. Any questions? Everyone's good? Awesome. Thank you. All right, good. Okay, now we're gonna go through. So you see a lot of repeated, like I mentioned before, it's a lot of the time is actually from these data is actually from 1950 to 2035, sometimes to 2039 apparently. So what we're gonna do? How do we get I just want to know how many countries are there. Like sometimes we give a raw data, you have millions of rows and you don't know what to start. And I'm gonna start something with I'm more familiar with, which is the location, aka the country. So in this case, I want to get all the location. I want to get the country continents of this data. So I'm going to use this unique function of this series for the series in order to get all the data here. So if you see it here, you will post, like if you perform this function, and you will see all the locations here. The reason why it doesn't call country is because it actually have African. It actually have the continent as well. So it's just like a very large amount of data with quite a bit of something, and mix it in that, like for example, we define continent as continent, we define country as country, but in this file it doesn't. So there are often times we would deal with data like this, especially manual type data. But if you want to start the data cleansing process, like understanding it, and this is like one of the ways to do it. And if I want to know how many countries, how many locations that there are, or just to put a len to find out the length of the unique location, which is like more than 74 here. There we go. Okay, sorry, we're running out of time. I promise I will talk it faster. Okay, so if I want a subsetting is one of the popular functions for Pandas. So if I want to know in 2021, how is everybody population look like? So the time here is the year. So I want to know, all I have to do is to put like df and then df this. This is like a condition, like where the df time equals to 2021, and then you press it, and you'll get everybody's 2021 and 2021 population. Why is repeated? Because it has a column covariant, which I actually don't know what it is. I'm not even bother lying. It's just it has a, it's just like this file has, like I said, this file has a lot of data, and then even with 2021, it had the variant actually has a 5 different variants here at least to show the data itself. So, but like I said, this is the way to this is one of the ways to subset the data frame with this with the time. Optional thing doesn't apply here, but it might apply to some of your data sets, which is the time. So in here, fortunately, the time was converted correctly. Sometimes the time when it's being converted from a CSV file, or it's especially Excel file, to a data frame, it actually often counted it as a string, only a string. So when you're doing a lot of like time, you want to be specific, want to do a subset, for example, with some time with using time functions on that series, it didn't work. So a way to do this, I'm just putting it here as optional, is to use the two datetime function in order to convert it into the datetime format. But this is optional here. It doesn't apply here, luckily, but that's in case you need it in the future, go ahead and use it. Now we're going to subset something with a country name. Anyone can give me a country that would want to try and look at? Anyone? Any country you're interested in? It could be your own country. USA. Mexico, Chile. Let's try. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the USA first, because USA actually, actually you can do that. So USA is the United States of America. Let's see if it works. And you will see a lot of US here. And interestingly, US has a lot of dependencies as well. So if you feel free to take a look this, if in case you're interested in geography, feel free to take a look at this example, this CSV, and playing with and practicing your pandas as well. Okay, let's do Chile. So Chile, from 1950, you guys have a fairly equal amount of like the population of male is smaller than female, and then like in the future, apparently you guys will have higher female population, and then the male. See, hey, yeah, okay. South Africa. Okay, let's try one more. Sorry. South Africa. Here. There we go. So, and then I will try, just to be fair, I will try Mexico as well. I'm pretty sure by this point you guys get the idea of how it works. It's very useful. So the magic behind it is to actually use the magic behind it is actually has to do with something with regular expression, which we previously introduced in our last stuff. Also, Python actually has a function called string contains. Actually, it's a string function as well. If you contain this name, this country name of in this location, so basically it's like grab this series, grab this location column, convert everybody to string, to str, and then if it contains this, return to me. So if the content is true, return to me. If it's not contain this is false, then don't show it. So that's the magic behind it. So have fun with this. I know you guys will have fun if you guys are interested in the data. Okay, so last one. it's called the GroupBy function. The GroupBy function works a little bit different than the SQL and the SQL one. In case you like had the GroupBy function, you used the GroupBy function on SQL before. So the GroupBy here does is like, so for so the mechanism here is like, so the DF, so all the data frame, and then use the GroupBy, you group by everything by location, and then you subset it. Remember subset. Remember, you subset it into two different, like you want to take the two different columns, like take the two columns out. And the good thing about GroupBy is actually the main purpose of GroupBy is for calculations. So if I want to find a median of all the locations, and honestly I actually don't need this, and then you will see the median of all the population here. So let's say median here, if you want to find a maximum here, then you will sorry, I shouldn't yell. And typo. And then you will see the maximum around here. So that's just a quick dive in onto the GroupBy, and then using the GroupBy and then to do some basic calculations. Before I stop, anyone has any questions about it? You guys probably learned everything already. Is there any functions that you guys haven't learned it yet? Or like you guys, I'm expert on this. Sorry, it's late at night for me. Love pandas. Yes, pandas. Go pandas. All right, I'm gonna drag it along. So let me finish this. Thank you. Hopefully something it's more not really about pandas. I feel like today for you guys it's not really a learning about panda functions. It's the mumbo jumbo that I talk about like other stuff. Hopefully it fills you guys in a little bit more. Like learns a little bit something from me, and then do have fun with the panda functions, have even more fun with the pandas functions. Okay, so upcoming event, next week we're gonna learn the matplotlib seaborn and plotly, the very fun graphic everyone likes to see graphs, not numbers. Like some of you do, some of you might not. And then we're gonna learn Tinka and Pillow as well. So beside us, we have a couple the beginner Python study group will have a couple more events coming up. I did it. Shermaine is one of the hosts of the beginner Python study group, will be teaching the guess the number game. So in case you're first time here and you want to remember to follow us on social media, we have it on Instagram, we have it on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we also on Slack. So remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us there, and feel free to join the party and have fun. All right. Thank you very much for joining today, guys. Hopefully it's good for you. Good day for you all, and good evening to the European ladies, and good night for the Asia and Australia one. And kudos to you guys for joining this section. And we'll see you next week.